Guys, Hook is back with more Gazelle impressions. I thought I'd go ahead and do a part 2. I've had some more time with this chopper, employed weapons, floated in combat some, and I've also read some feedback on her. So I guess I'll give a few more impressions, maybe a couple tips too, if you're having a little bit of a hard time flying this helicopter. The thing is, guys, is you know, I'm unfortunately not a private pilot, certified helicopter pilot in the real world. I'm a only, excuse me, fixed wing and all that good stuff. But I did fly light helicopters enough to know how much of a handful they can be. And while I know Polychop is going to continue to work on the dynamics, and while I haven't flown a real Gazelle, the way this helicopter flies to me, it feels like a light helicopter, and I think they've conveyed that. And I think with this being the first light helicopter in DCS, that's made things tougher for some of the users who aren't really familiar with that type. So just a couple things, you know, in case you're struggling. And as we take off here, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's good just to slow things down a little bit with a helicopter like this. You know, it doesn't have as much inertia. It's going to be much more sensitive to your inputs than a Huey or an MI8. So usually on my takeoff, I kind of add power kind of gradually here, and I see what the helicopter's up to, and I let it do its thing. I give very little input, just a little pedal, a little right anti-torque. And in flight, the same thing. You just want to take what you would input into a Huey or an MI8 and cut that into maybe a quarter. And put those inputs in, and once you do that, she'll fly quite nicely. I'm real happy with it. I mean, I know they'll tweak the flight model some. The anti-torque pedals are pretty sensitive, but all in all, leading into my impressions, it's great. I love flying this thing. I have a great time with it. I can get it to do what I want to do, and I love the feedback it gives me. So let's talk about the actual module as a first release here, or its current state. I think that this module, compared to some of the other releases of this year, which I like, by the way, let's just compare it to the Mirage 2000. I think that this aircraft, out of the two, easily released in a more ready state. They didn't do any you know, pre-sale stuff. They just out of nowhere, hey guys, the Gazelle's out, buy it. And I really think this helicopter just strikes me as a complete package. I know there's a lot they're going to do. They're going to add new weapons. They're going to make some tweaks and improvements, but it's just ready for war, you know. As far as the actual capabilities of the aircraft go, this is one that you want to be doing the recon and the light attack missions in. You've only got the 4 tow missiles, so, you know, people who are wondering, well, what the heck am I going to do with this thing? Just use your imagination a little, and you can think of some great missions for this chopper. A recon mission, you know, where you're spotting maybe a high-value target. An escort for Hueys. You know, Hueys can't take on BTRs or light armor vehicles, and this could. So an escort for the Hueys, you know. Yeah, you only get 4 kills in, but that's just half the fun. There's a lot of things this helicopter can do, and as we get the new weapons Polychop has promised us, the gun pods, the rocket pods, and even the Mistral air-to-air missiles, it's just going to expand this awesome helicopter's abilities even more. That being said, I guess I'm kind of excited too that this is going to have air-to-air capability. It'll be the first chopper to have that, really, in its sim. But, you know, we have countermeasures. You have a radar warning receiver, which is really nice. This is really the only chopper in the game, I think, with an honest-to-God RWR. And the speed and agility of this helicopter is just unprecedented. Now, as you load it down, you'll find that it does lose some of its, there's a text message, it does lose some of its spunk. You know, it slows down, it has a pretty small performance envelope. And talking about the actual performance, which is true to real world, when you have all your weapons, your IR deflectors, your countermeasures, everything on board, you can only carry 65% fuel, which I think is only good for about 1.5 hours of flight. So you'll want this helicopter to be one that'll have a fart close by when you do missions, you know, something at the front line to refuel. I would imagine the real helicopter would have a fart pretty close if it was doing, you know, straightforward combat operations. But I guess the main reason I'm making this video is I've seen some negative feedback, and there's always, you know, people who are unhappy, and I understand that. You're paying money for a product, but I've seen some negative feedback here and there about, yeah, don't buy it, wait, you know, it's not worth the buy, it's an odd helicopter, it's eccentric, and I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. I mean, that's your choice, but Polychop has entered the third-party development arena here, if you want to call it that, with an outstanding first release, and it's clear that they spent so much time on this helicopter, from the sounds, you know, to the flight dynamics, to the model, the detail. These guys really put a lot of work, and for several years it was for free. I mean, you know, it was going to be a mod. So my recommendation to you guys is, even if you don't think you're going to fly this thing non-stop, I really recommend you pick it up to support Polychop. If you are looking for a new helo, because God knows it's been forever since we've got one in DCS, grab it, man. This thing is awesome, and it's just going to get sweeter as time goes by. You know, Polychop is obviously demonstrated with this their ability to make awesome add-ons, and they have more coming. So, despite some of the work in progress stuff, and there's really not a whole lot compared to some of the other releases over the years, I would say this helicopter is totally worth a buy. If you have bonus points, you can use, I think, up to $15 of that bonus points to get the helicopter for a lower price, which I felt kind of bad about, because it was taken away from Polychop's bottom line, and I hate to do that. Although maybe Ed reimburses, I don't really know the inner workings of the bonus points. Let's try a roof landing while I blabber on here. But anyway, you know, like I said, I've seen some skepticism and some people saying not to buy, and I just couldn't disagree with that more, guys. This thing is worth every penny to me, even if I did nothing but just fly it around. And there's so much more to do with it besides just that. So as I pick a roof to land here, this will probably be my last impression video. I want to do a tutorial series, but I can say after a few days flying this thing and using it here in some combat roles and starting to integrate it into my mission designs, I am totally happy with my purchase. Totally happy. And Polychop, like I said, I applaud you guys. Outstanding work on your first release. I can't wait to the next one, and I'm definitely looking forward to the additional expansion of the Gazelle as you guys buff it out and put some of the new capabilities in there. I think we all look forward to that. So we'll see if I can get this thing on the roof here. Just to all the naysayers who say this thing is uncontrollable, I think not. Just got to take your time with her. Somebody said she's a French ballerina. You got to handle her carefully, as opposed to the Huey or the MI8 that you can slam around. Isn't that right, Jean-Philippe? Anyway, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. This is my final impression video. The capabilities of the aircraft, like I said, are a little limited right now, but we're going to get more weapons. But it's still worth every penny, and just a blast to fly. So hope you guys will pick it up and tune in to some of the other videos I'll make for this aircraft. I'll try to make a tutorial series, as I alluded to in my last video. Thanks again, Polychop, for a great module, and Ed for publishing it and putting out the platform for us to use it on, and definitely looking forward to more. Hook out.